You all know that theme when it starts to play. That theme that plays whenever Edward the Blue Engine's very special friend comes on to screen. This very special theme belongs to our favorite traction engine, Trevor the Traction Engine. Trevor the Traction Engine was first introduced to us in the Reverend Wilbert Awdry's book, Edward the Blue Engine, in the story Saved from Scrap, which would go on to be adapted by Britt Allcroft and David Mitton in the TV series Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends by the same name. However, did you know that the next episode's story to feature Trevor, Thomas and Trevor, was actually written by Reverend Wilbert Awdry's son Christopher Awdry? It was the only non-Reverend Wilbert Awdry story that was adapted by Britt Allcroft and David Mitton in Series 2 of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. To celebrate Fairly Odd Engine Creations' birthday, this two-part redub will feature two of Trevor's stories that were requested by the birthday boy himself to be done. This is Saved from Scrap and Thomas and Trevor.
The Fat Controller works his engines hard, but they are very proud when he calls them really useful.
I'm going to the scrapyard today.
What? Already? You're not that old.
Thomas was only teasing.
Oh, what wonders will I uncover from the scrapyard?
The scrapyard is full of rusty old parts and machinery. They are broken into pieces, loaded into trucks, and Edward pulls them to the steelworks, where they are melted down and used again. Today, there was a surprise waiting for Edward in the yard. It was a traction engine.
Hello. You're not broken and rusty. What are you doing here?
I'm Trevor. They're going to break me up next week.
Oh, what a shame.
My driver says I only need some paint, polish and oil to be as good as new. But my master says I'm old-fashioned.
People say I'm old-fashioned, but I don't care. The Fat Controller says I'm a useful engine. What work did you do?
My master would send us from farm to farm. We threshed corn, hauled logs and did lots of other work. The children loved to see us.
Trevor shut his eyes, remembering.
Oh yes, I like children.
Edward set off for the station.
Broken up, what a shame. Broken up, what a shame.
I must help Trevor, I must.
He thought of all his friends who liked engines, but strangely, none of them would have room for a traction engine at home.
It's a shame, it's a shame.
Then,
Peep, peep. Why didn't I think of him before?
there on the platform was the very person.
Hello, Edward. You look upset. What's the matter, Charlie, old boy?
There's a traction engine in the scrapyard, Vicar. He'll be broken up next week. Jem Cole says he never drove a better engine.
Do save him, sir. He saws wood and gives children rides.
We'll see, Edward and Charlie.
Jem Cole came on Saturday.
The Reverend's come to see you, Trevor. Maybe he'll buy you.
Do you think he will, Jem?
I reckon after I lick your fire and clean you up, old boy.
The vicar and his two boys arrived that evening. Trevor hadn't felt so happy for months. He chuffered about the yard.
Show your paces, Trevor.
Later, he came out of his office smiling.
I've got him cheap, Jemmy. Cheap.
You hear that, Trevor, old boy? The Reverend has saved you, and you live at the vicarage now.
Peep, peep!
Now Trevor's home was in the vicarage orchard.
Peep.
He
Hello.
sees Edward every day.
Hello, Edward! And thank you!
His paint was spotless, and his brush shines like gold. Trevor likes his work, but his happiest day is the church fair. With a wooden seat bolted to his bunker, he chuffs around the orchard, giving rides to children. Long afterwards, you will see him shut his eyes,
I
remembering.
like it here in the vicarage orchard. I like children.
Several days later.
Trevor the traction engine enjoyed living in the vicarage orchard. Edward came to see him every day, but sometimes Trevor didn't have enough work to do.
I do like to keep busy all the time, Edward, and I do like company, especially children's company.
Cheer up, Trevor. The Fat Controller has work for you at his new harbor. I'm to take you to meet Thomas today.
Oh! A harbour! The seaside! Children! That would be lovely! Oh, thank you, Edward!
Thomas was on his way to the harbor with a trainload of metal pilings. They were needed to make the harbor wall firm and safe.
Hello, Thomas. This is Trevor, a friend of mine. He's a traction engine.
Thomas eyed the newcomer doubtfully.
A what engine?
A traction engine, Thomas. I run on roads instead of rails. Can you take me to the harbour, please? Sir Topham Hatt has a job for me.
Yes, of course.
But he was puzzled. Workmen coupled Trevor's truck to Thomas's train, and soon they were ready to start their journey.
I'm glad Sir Topham Hatt needs me. I don't have enough to do sometimes, you know. Although I could work anywhere. In orchards, on farms, in scrapyards, even at harbours.
But you don't run on rails.
I'm a traction engine. I don't need rails to be useful. You wait and see.
When they reached the harbor, they found everything in confusion. Trucks had been derailed, blocking the line, and stone slabs lay everywhere.
We must get these pilings passed. They are essential. Trevor, we need you to drag them around this mess at once.
Ah, just the sort of job I like. Now you'll see, Thomas. I'll soon show you what traction engines can do.
Trevor was good as his word. He dragged the pilings clear with chains and towed them into position.
Haha, who needs rails?
Later, Thomas brought Annie and Clarabelle to visit him.
Now I understand how useful a traction engine can be.
The coaches were full of children. Trevor gave them rides along the harbor. He liked this best of all.
Oh, he's very kind.
He reminds me of Thomas.
Everyone was sorry when it was time for Trevor to go. Thomas pulled him to the junction. A small tear came into Trevor's eye. Thomas pretended not to see. He whistled gaily to make Trevor happy.
I'll come and see you if I can. The vicar will look after you, and there's plenty of work for you now at the orchard. But we may need you again at the harbor someday.
That would be wonderful, Thomas. Thank you very much.
That evening, Trevor stood remembering his new friend Thomas, the harbor, and most of all, the children. Then he went happily to sleep at the shed at the bottom of the orchard.
Reach for the wind, reach for the whistle, go where the rail may run. Reach for the song, reach for the story, follow the rainbow sun. To a shining time station